have a lot of wishes in the world. I wish this, I wish that. I wish Republicans were more intellectually curious about politics, about history. I wish Republicans were more intellectually curious about their own faith, about the religion that they claim to be deeply held, fundamentally rooted in their worldview. I really wish that was the case. I'm going to share a quote. This little episode of the show is going to end up being communication through quote, I think. But have you ever seen this quote from Anne Lamott? You can safely assume you've created God in your own image when it turns out that God hates all the same people you do. This encapsulates the Republican Party. They believe, and I'm getting ready to play a clip of Charlie Kirk saying that the Democrat Party supports everything that God hates. Charlie Kirk, an authority on the mind of God. He's saying this to a crowd of frothing at the mouth, cheering, hooping, and hollering Trump supporters who apparently, ostensibly believe that God, the creator of the universe, everything that you can see and everything you can't, God created. And Charlie Kirk and the MAGA mob here would have you believe, because they believe it, that God, that same God, is concerned about the southern border between the United States and Mexico. That God is very concerned about keeping poor and desperate people out of the United States. Who cares about them? My children who are desperate for a better life. Who cares about them? They would have you believe that God, the creator of the universe, doesn't want more money allocated to feed hungry children, homeless, desperate people on the streets of the United States. That's what they'd have you believe. And Charlie Kirk knows what he's doing here when he says things like that I'm getting ready to play for you. But before I do, I got another quote, because apparently I can't come up with my own original thoughts. And this one is from Steven Weinberg, who said, with or without religion, good people can behave well and bad people can do evil. But for good people to do evil, that takes religion. These two quotes are separated by decades of time. Two completely different people with different life experiences, different education levels, different interests. They all kind of get us to the same thought. That MAGA world, there's certainly not 100% scattershot of evil or bad people in that audience that I'm getting ready to show you. There are certainly some good people in there. But when you start invoking religion and you tell them that it just so happens that God hates all the same people you do, that God wants bad things for the same people you want bad things for, it justifies in their minds to do bad things, or at the very least to make excuses for and look the other way when horrible, terrible things happened to those people. Here's Charlie Kirk explaining to this audience of MAGA warriors why they shouldn't vote Democrat, because the Democrats support everything that God hates.
And more than anything else, everybody is on the other side. The Democrat Party supports everything that God hates. The Democrat Party is espousing the death of the unborn, the mutilation of our teenage kids, open borders, the destruction of our sovereignty, the elimination of our currency status. I believe there is a spiritual battle happening around all of us, but don't expect a spiritual victory if our own pastors do not engage. Right now, this state is a Christian state. I want to see that to continue. But we need the faithful. We need those of you that have influence over your congregation to put pressure on your pastors. And those, if you're a pastor watching this right now, I hope this touches you. I hope you, and I'm looking right in the camera right now, I hope you give a Sunday sermon and you talk about how the Democrat Party believes everything that God hates. I hope you tell your congregation how to biblically vote. I hope you challenge them and tell them to get in the arena.
So not only is this giving permission for this audience of brainwashed cult members of Donald Trump to hate everything that the Democrats do because they do everything God hates. They believe everything God hates. The Democrat Party supports everything God hates. He's not only doing that to them, he's also advocating for pastors to break the law and make endorsements, to use their tax-free status to influence elections. Their tax-free status that is granted them by we the people in order that they continue to do charitable endeavors. Not for political advocacy, not for endorsing candidates, not for lying about their faith, bastardizing their deeply held religious faith. And you've got Charlie Kirk here acting as though he's some kind of a religious historian or theologian when he is nothing but a college dropout who was born to a wealthy family and was able to create this organization because of his privilege. And he would have them believe that the things that the Republican Party stands for are the things that God stands for. Racism, xenophobia, political violence, murder, insurrection, the violent overthrow of the United States government. Those are things that are godly and righteous, according to Charlie Kirk and the Republican Party. But God is more interested in, what did he say? The elimination of our currency status. God's real concerned with the money markets. God's very concerned with the current status of the US dollar. Not hungry people, not poor kids, not the sick, not the infirmed, not the things that Jesus actually spoke with his mouth. No, no, no. He's worried about the dollar and the border. I'll leave you again. You can safely assume you've created God in your own image when it turns out that God hates all the same people you do. What do you think? I'd love to know. Look, I know how my videos perform when I talk about certain people, and I know Charlie Kirk isn't on everybody's radar. Thank you if you're still here. Share this video if you're still here. It would help the algorithm to get this in front of more viewers, maybe people who do have some affinity for Charlie Kirk. We could move the needle in that way. You can comment below. You can also leave me a voicemail, 714-576-4054. And of course, as always, the old-fashioned way, daily@dollemore.com. If you appreciate what I do, if you're still here, maybe you already are a channel member. Thank you if you are. If you'd like to help support the work and you're not a channel member, click the join button below for $1.99. You can do just that. Or you can go over to patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast. Follow me on social media. If you share this video on social media, tag me. I'd love to know. I'm at Dollemore everywhere, Threads and TikTok, Facebook, Blue Sky, all of them at Dollemore. I'd love to see you. As I always say, more meaningful in this video than maybe any other, be genuine and take care of one another.